The man had only 1 month to spend $1 billion. That was the only condition under which he could inherit the $40 billion left to him by his grandfather. But there was a catch. He could only spend the money on himself. Jack started off by shelling out $10 million to hire 30 bodyguards. Next, he rented out the most expensive hotel in the city to throw a party for his family and friends. He also funded people whose dreams seemed nearly impossible to achieve. He even spent $30 million just to have dinner with a famous stock market expert. But even so, his spending was just a drop in the bucket compared to the billions he still had to burn through. That's when Jack had a brilliant idea. He bought a football team with a terrible track record, a team that had never scored a single goal. Jack hired a world-renowned coach and poured massive amounts of money into upgrading their training facilities. But here's the twist: everything Jack backed turned into a success. The stocks he was hoping would tank shot up instead. Even his crazy scheme to tow an iceberg to the equator ended up generating huge profits. Jack was beside himself. Who would have thought that in just 3 weeks, not only had he failed to go broke, but he'd actually made an extra $500 million. Desperate, he called a press conference to launch a new insurance program, Weight Gain Insurance. Signing up only cost $1, but every pound lost would pay out $20,000. Everyone signed up eagerly. The money in his coffers started melting away before his eyes. But that's when Jack got a call. His girlfriend had been kidnapped, and the kidnappers were demanding a $50 million ransom. Jack was down to 2 options: pay the $50 million to save her, which would break the rules and cost him the $40 billion inheritance, or call the police, putting his girlfriend's life at risk. At that very moment, Jack's grandfather showed up at the scene of the kidnapping. The whole thing had actually been a secret test he'd orchestrated himself. He wanted to see what really mattered most to Jack. Unable to stand the thought of losing his money, Jack threw himself into a spending frenzy. Days went by, and his girlfriend still hadn't seen any sign of Jack. Just as she was about to give up hope, Jack suddenly showed up with the money.